Hey guys, welcome back. We were talking about using basic quiz questions and a simple text to help us develop our thinking, reasoning, and communication skills. This time, let's try to kick it up a notch. If you haven't watched the first video on the basics, you'll want to go back and do that first. But if you're all caught up, then let's get into it. We're still using the same text and the same quiz for the same reasons as last time. Only now we're looking at more indirect evidence and slightly more complex reasoning. Let's review the basics real quick. Let's take a look at number 6. We can assume that you've done your due diligence and you know the correct answer. But again, we're looking for evidence. And this time we find our evidence on page 1, paragraph 2, line 1. Now that seems pretty straightforward. But what if you want to use different evidence? Could we use this evidence and still get to the right answer? We just have to provide a little more explanation because the answer isn't as direct. In this example, we just need a brief explanation. The evidence still gets us to the right answer, and the reasoning is clear, but just a little more complex. Developing the ability to use complex reasoning on simple questions and simple answers will make it easier to manage more complex questions later. Let's take a look at one more. Now, this is just another matching question, and on the surface might seem really easy. And it kind of is. But remember, we're not worrying about simple questions and simple answers. We're looking for complex reasoning. Now, if we go to page 3, paragraph 8, line 1, we find the simple answer, the obvious answer, and of course, the correct answer. Pretty straightforward. Solid evidence, clear reasoning, obvious answer. Let's see if we can turn this up a little. Let's go to page 4, paragraph 3, and use line 2. Let's take another look at the question. The question wants to know, what are the early Christian followers of Jesus who wanted to help him spread his message? Well, the answer is apostles. So how does our evidence prove that the early followers of Jesus were called apostles? Who was Peter? Peter and Paul were two important apostles. What else do we know about Peter? Well, we know he knew Jesus, and he was one of the 12 apostles chosen to preach his message. This paragraph also names Peter as the guy that set up the church in Rome. Now, granted, it's a little 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but the reasoning is sound, and it still gets us to the right answer. Remember, we're training our brains to work more complex problems that need complex reasoning. But you can't just jump into it. You have to work up to it. Trying to apply complex reasoning to a simple question is a good exercise to help you train your brain to manage more complex problems. Now let's take a look at how clear reasoning can lead to the wrong answer. Let's take a look at this question. Let's say that we think the answer is B, and our evidence is page 1, paragraph 3, line 4, that the Jewish people established communities away from Roman rule. And our reasoning is that many Jews decided to leave Judea and Galilee to avoid Roman rule. Now, that's sound reasoning, but the answer is still incorrect. If we look at the question, it's asking, what did some Jews hope would happen? Not how did the Jews respond to Roman rule? It's a subtle difference in language, but it's a vital one. Because if we go to page 1, paragraph 1, line 2, it clearly states that many Jews hoped that God would send a savior. Now, the question, answer, and evidence all line up with clear reasoning, and we know we have a good answer. How many times have you gotten a quiz or a test back and realized that you got an answer wrong because you read the question wrong? That is another critical thinking skill that you need to develop. And the Gateway Method has exercises that will help you develop it. This is how we can use a simple text and some basic questions to help us develop our thinking, reasoning, and communication skills, as well as build knowledge and improve the way we learn. Well, I hope this was helpful. As always, if you have any questions, comments, issues, observations, threats, or warnings, leave a comment below, and maybe next time I'll do a video just for you. Thanks for watching. I'm the Mister, and I'm just trying to help.